You're listening to the Health and Happiness Podcast with Travis Kemper and
Lauren Maxwell. Each episode, we share easy-to-implement strategies to improve your health, happiness, and overall quality of life.
Procrastination is like a credit card. It's a lot of fun until you get the bill. Christopher Parker. How's it going? I know, it's great. How's it going, Travis?
Good. I've been shooting my bow a lot. And this week I took my first shots out to 60 and 75 yards. So that's going
wow.
well. Yeah, that's a long way. I never shot past 50 before.
Exciting.
Yeah, so I'm excited for archery season in a month and a half. How's it going, Lauren?
Can I ask you a question before
Maybe.
I go on?
I may not answer you.
It's not that personal. How did you learn how to do archery? I don't know that I've ever asked you that.
I grew up shooting.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. I think I got my first bow at like 7.
Whoa, that's so cool.
Yeah, I would guess about 7,
Awesome.
8, something like that.
That's awesome.
And then my second
one
at 12.
Family do it?
Yeah, Mom shot a couple times, but yeah, mostly just me and Dad at this point.
That's cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Joe's done it a lot too.
I was really curious.
Yeah, it's fun.
Cool. Well, for me, it's going good. Nolan and I are getting ready for our second trip of the summer. It's just the two of us this time. We are leaving on Sunday evening and heading to California for a few days for his birthday. We're going to hit the beach and go to Knott's Berry Farms. I'm super excited. My stepbrother, his wife, and their 3-year-old daughter live pretty close to where we'll be, so we're planning on meeting up with them too, which will be really fun. I love getting to spend time with my niece. She's super cute.
Hold on. It's Knott's Berry?
Yeah.
I always thought it was Knoxberry with an X.
No, Knott's Berry.
Yeah, I don't know what that is anyway, but I've heard it before.
It's a theme park.
Oh.
Roller coasters.
That is totally not what I would have guessed.
It's not a berry farm.
Yeah, I would have guessed that this is where I get my strawberries and blueberries all winter.
No,
also, that it has an X.
Wow. Yeah, Knott's Berry. Knott's with 2 T's.
Wow, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm excited. It'll be a lot of fun. Although I'm kind of wishing that we could go pick berries somewhere now. Maybe I gotta find an orchard or something.
You could probably do that in California.
I'm sure you can.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Do some Googling after this.
Don't call it Knoxberry when you're there.
I won't. So what are we going to talk about today?
The cost of procrastination. So,
Perfect.
And strategies to get over procrastinating. Lauren, why do you procrastinate?
Why do I procrastinate? That is a really good question because I don't know that I've ever really thought about it until maybe the last couple of episodes I started thinking about it because I think we've referenced it in some of our fear of not that one, perfectionist episode and another one we have coming up. But I think a lot of my procrastination comes from my perfectionist tendencies and from a fear of failing and general anxiety and overwhelm with where to start. And yeah, I think that's at least some of the reasons why. What about you, Travis?
Yeah, yours totally makes sense. I would say some of mine is similar to that, especially on big things that I don't know how to do, and they just seem overwhelming. Mm-hmm. But also, a lot of my procrastination is because I know I want an outcome, but I also know that the outcome is dependent on steps that I frankly hate doing, and I know that I hate doing. I don't want to do them at all. For instance, if you've been listening to the podcast several weeks ago at this point, maybe 2 months ago at this point, I said that I was making a website and that I was going to have it out by the time that episode came out.
Oh, yeah.
And I already have the first articles written, but I legitimately hate working on websites and therefore it isn't done. I said that it would be put up in public so that I would force myself to do it. That strategy did not work at all. It just made me a liar because there's still no website. So I'm excited to find some new strategies today.
All right, perfect. I think we can all use them. What is procrastination? Procrastination is the act of unnecessarily, or I guess in Travis's case, necessarily, postponing decisions or actions. For example, if you need to write an essay but end up wasting time on the internet, even though you know you should be working, that means you're procrastinating.
I never did that in school.
Never.
Not once. Definitely.
I definitely did.
I was being sarcastic.
I couldn't tell. That time I was like, I feel like you're lying, but sometimes it's hard for me to read. I don't know. Procrastination is often detrimental to people's ability to successfully pursue their goals, which is evident, for example, in the fact that procrastination is associated with receiving worse grades at school and earning a lower salary at work. Jaw drops if you're just listening. We were both jaw dropping. I think sarcastically.
I got good grades.
I got good grades. I got terrible grades. I'm just kidding. Procrastination is also associated with a wide range of other issues, such as increased stress and worse physical and mental health. Travis is like shaking his head and furrowing his brows.
No, like in college, yeah, I definitely had worse physical and mental health, especially mental. So yeah, I would agree with that. Why do we procrastinate? The main psychological mechanism behind our procrastination is as follows. When we need to get something done, we rely primarily on our self-control in order to bring ourselves to do it. Our self-control often receives support from our motivation, which helps us get things done in a timely manner. In some cases, we experience certain demotivating factors, such as anxiety or fear of failure, which have an opposite effect on our motivation. In addition, we sometimes experience certain hindering factors, such as exhaustion or outcomes that are far in the future.
Or not liking things.
And these interfere with our self-control and motivation. When demotivating and hindering factors outweigh our self-control and motivation, we end up procrastinating either indefinitely, that's been my case so far, or until we reach a point in time when the balance between them shifts in our favor. When it comes to specific reasons why people procrastinate in terms of demotivating and hindering factors, the following are among the most common. Abstract goals. Yeah, we talk about this in goal setting. You got to have an actual goal. It can't be just get stronger. Outcomes that are far in the future. Yep. Yeah. That's an easy one to get disconnected from it. A disconnect from our future self. That's weird that I just said that.
Yep.
Feeling overwhelmed, anxiety, task aversion. There I am.
There you go.
Perfectionism.
There I am.
Fear of failure, evaluation, or negative feedback, perceived lack of control, ADHD, well, there I am again, depression, lack of motivation, lack of energy. I definitely have lack of energy, Lauren.
Oh, totally.
Sensation seeking.
That I knew was sarcasm. So there is another theory of why we procrastinate. Research over the past several years has shown that another theory called the delay reduction theory may also help to explain procrastination. This theory, as it applies to procrastination, suggests that human and non-human animals, I thought that was kind of a funny way to say that instead of just animals, non-human animals. I mean, I get that we're animals, but it made me giggle. Find behaviors reinforcing when they complete them closer to their deadlines. This theory was played out in experiments using pigeons. In multiple situations, pigeons, don't usually see pigeons in studies. Pigeons were given the option of choosing to receive reinforcements close to the beginning of the lengthy task or closer to the end. In each experiment, the pigeons showed a strong preference for reinforcement close to the end of the tasks. So using this to your advantage, this new research shows that deadlines are important. We may not actually be using deadlines enough. Every important task that you must complete should have a definite deadline, and maybe like breaking them up into smaller deadlines so that you get that like reinforcement of like, I'm making progress.
And that's why we make goals the way we make goals.
Yay!
Dangers of procrastination. Whatever type of procrastinator you are, pushing off tasks over and over again is a risk factor for poor mental and physical health. Chronic procrastinators have higher levels of stress and a greater number of acute health problems than other people. The mental health implications include experiencing general psychological distress and low life satisfaction, particularly in regard to work and outcome, as well as symptoms of depression and anxiety. Those who procrastinate are also more likely to experience headaches, insomnia, and digestive issues, and they're more susceptible to the flu and colds. Wow, that's kind of crazy.
Right?
The association with health problems is best explained by stress, but another factor is that procrastinators often delay preventative treatments such as regular checkups. What's a regular checkup? Research suggests that procrastination is associated with sleep problems such as shorter sleep duration and increased risk of insomnia symptoms and daytime sleepiness. Lots of people engage in revenge bedtime procrastination. That's a really interesting title of something that people do, which describes a tendency to push off sleep to make time for personal activities. Okay, I could see that.
Yeah, revenge bedtime procrastination.
Yeah, that's still a weird title for it. Procrastinating is also linked to heart problems. A 2015 study in the Journal of Behavioral Medicine that found that people with heart disease were more likely than healthy people to self-identify as procrastinators. According to the study, procrastinators with hypertension and heart disease were less likely to take action to cope with their illness, such as changing their diet or exercising, because they could always do it tomorrow. And tomorrow never comes.
That's right. So we have lots of procrastination research coming up. A 2007 meta-analysis suggests procrastination is negatively related to overall GPA, final exam scores, and assignment grades. In this study, they examined procrastination among students in a health psychology class. They found that early in the semester, procrastinators reported lower stress and less illness than non-procrastinators, but that late in the term, procrastinators reported higher stress and more illness.
Lauren, were you a procrastinator in school?
Yes.
Oh, so you...
I was in like certain areas, not in all areas. It wasn't consistent.
You bucked the study. I was a procrastinator in all areas. And, you know, GPA was good, not great.
I would have been an outlier, I guess. I would have definitely said I was more stressed, though.
You were more stressed than me, yes, most of PT school.
In a 2005 study, researchers differentiated between two types of procrastinators. Passive procrastinators who postpone tasks until the last minute because of an inability to act in a timely manner, and active procrastinators who prefer the time pressure and purposely decide to delay a task but are still able to complete the tasks before deadlines and achieve satisfactory outcomes. They found that although active procrastinators reported the same level of procrastination as their traditional or passive counterparts, they determined a productive use of time, adaptive coping styles, and academic performance outcomes that were nearly identical to, and in some cases even better than, those of non-procrastinators. This research points out the positives of what they're calling intentional delay, which can be a necessary part of managing daily tasks while pursuing our goals.
I'm going to say I was that type in school.
Yeah.
2018 meta-analysis of interventions for procrastination. So how can we get better at this? 4 different types of interventions were included: self-regulation, cognitive behavioral therapy, other therapeutic approaches, and interventions focusing on the individual strengths and resources. Results found that there were a large reduction in Results found that there was a large reduction in procrastination after the interventions, and the effects remained stable in follow-up assessments. The findings so far suggest that cognitive behavioral therapy reduced procrastination more strongly than the other types of interventions.
We also have research on the differences in males versus females on procrastination. So there was a 2020 study on students that found that male students compared to female students scored higher in academic procrastination. Female students compared, Travis is nodding his head in agreement. Female students compared to males scored higher in fear of failure and in organization. And I think that surprised neither one of us.
Well, I mean, this podcast, the participants in this podcast that you were listening to perfectly resemble those results.
A sample size of 2 agrees.
Sample size of 2, yes. Does smartphone usage contribute to procrastination? I would venture a guess as to yes, but I read the study. A 2021 study, in stark contrast to technology addiction research, reveals that mobile checking habit makes only a small contribution to procrastination and is not robustly directly associated with decreased well-being. This suggests that the habit automaticity of checking your phone makes it more difficult but not impossible for people to detect conflicts. For example, with work tasks, habitual mobile checking may be problematic in some situations like studying, but not others. I think that I just use the phone as an excuse not to do the things that I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I was actually surprised by the outcome of this study because I feel like, I don't know, like maybe it doesn't contribute to procrastination, but it is a way to procrastinate.
I think that you use it as a distraction, not necessarily. But you would also use, your other 20 tabs things on Google to procrastinate,
As I look at my 20 plus tabs on Google, yes.
Yeah, you're doing great.
You're doing great. So how to stop procrastinating. This is the reason why we do these episodes, is because we all want to know how to be better. So to successfully deal with your procrastination, you need to figure out why you procrastinate and how your procrastination. Wow. I feel like saying that word so many times this episode is making it harder for me to say it. How your procrastination is preventing you from achieving your goals so that you can formulate a concrete plan of action based on appropriate anti-procrastination techniques that will help you deal with your reason for procrastination. So some techniques for dealing with procrastination include practicing self-compassion. Research indicates a connection between procrastinating and low levels of self-compassion. Yeah. So to counter that, treat yourself with kindness and understanding. Focus on doing your best instead of getting caught in the trap of worrying about what others think. People pleasing. See, I told you, this has come up in multiple episodes. Attach meaning to the task. Write down why it's important to you. It could be because getting it done on time is helpful to other people, or because it'll help you avoid negative repercussions, such as a late fee or a bad grade. Think about how completing whatever task will be valuable to your personal growth or happiness.
Lauren, there's a perfect one for you.
Valuable to my happiness?
No, well, I mean, that's valuable, but no, getting it done on time is helpful to other people.
Oh, yeah, people pleasing.
Yeah, that's a good one for you.
I was going to be like, better
yourself.
For my happiness. How's that motivating? Just kidding. Start small with everything. Like anything that you're trying to do, start small will always be one of our main suggestions. Once you've gotten started and made even a small bit of progress on your task, there's a good chance you'll keep going. This can be particularly helpful to indecisive procrastinators. These people, who are often perfectionists, do best when they split up a task into manageable parts rather than feeling the pressure to perform perfectly on a big, daunting project. Yep, I would agree with that. Another tip is to set deadlines for yourself for those small steps. So if you're someone who thrives under pressure, what is that? The active procrastinator. Doing so can help replicate the adrenaline rush you get when you wait until the last minute.
I don't think that would work for me because I'd have to try and trick myself.
I know, which doesn't always work.
No, you could probably trick me. Like tell me something needs to be done by this time, or it'll be too late. But I don't think I could trick me because I know that I'm trying to trick me.
Yeah.
Other strategies: carefully choose which task to do first. Know yourself and what motivates you, whether it's choosing to get the most daunting task out of the way first or choosing to do smaller tasks to build up confidence. Rid yourself of interruptions as much as possible. We get interrupted constantly by our phones, our families, howling dogs, the TV. But once you're interrupted, it's much harder to resume the task you finally started. Be aware of the procrastinating trap. Often procrastinators are stuck with the urge to tidy their space before they start working on a task, as in, oh, I can't possibly focus until I clean up my office. This is not one for me. I do not do this one.
This was a personal attack for me, though. I didn't even realize I did this until I was reading it, and then I was like,
I definitely don't do this one. It's one thing to spend 15 minutes straightening up the immediate area where you're working, but if you're thinking I need to go through all those shelves back there and alphabetize my books and dust them and maybe repaint the bookshelves, you might be procrastinating. Reward yourself for getting things done and enlist external help.
So in conclusion / a challenge for our listeners and ourselves, if you struggle with procrastination, try to assess why and see if some of these strategies that we listed can help you.
Great job today, Lauren.
You too, Travis. This was fun.
This was fun. Thank you, everybody, for listening, and we'll see you next week.
We'll see ya. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to listen to this episode of the Health and Happiness Podcast. We hope you enjoyed the episode and are getting benefits from our content.
If your life is improving in part due to the information in this podcast, we would greatly appreciate you sharing the episode with your family and friends on social media and leaving us a review so we can continue to reach more people and improve the health and happiness of the community at large.
Thanks again, and we will see you next week for another episode of the Health and Happiness Podcast.